Hello and welcome. Oh, I was not ready for that. Hello and welcome back to another episode of a weekly Waypoint. Can you believe I'm still doing these? Today we're playing the Crew 2, which, would you believe, has only just added custom-made player races, one of which we are currently playing. As a reminder, I bought this game a few weeks ago. I've played a bunch of it on PS4. I'm still kind of building up my car collection and upgrades and stuff like that on this account, but I'm having a wonderful time playing it off and on. But I do find it a little bit baffling that they added this key feature like a month before the game's actual sequel releases, when they're going to stop updating this game. So I guess it kind of makes sense, because it's like, you know, we've added a tool for the community to continue to create content in our absence as we go on to the Crew Motorfest. But also I just feel like most of the community is going to go ahead and play the Crew Motorfest as well. Although, then again, there's no guarantee that game's going to be any good. I haven't seen any actual gameplay of it yet. And I wonder if there's any out there. I keep meaning to go and have a look. And also, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to afford it when it first comes out, so there's that. There's too many good games coming out. Like, just a few minutes ago, I was like, wait, shit, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart comes out this month. That's next payday, period. And I don't think I'm going to be able to afford a AAA video game next payday, period, so... Oh no. But yeah, I chose this race. I believe it's Miami to Chicago, or Los Angeles to Chicago. Here's the thing. The Crew 2's open world, it's massive, right? That's the selling point. But as a result, it's also quite uniform. Like, there's different biomes and stuff, but I can't really just tell which city I'm in by looking at it. All I know is it ends up in Chicago, and it's a pretty hefty amount of map to travel, but it's nowhere near as far as you can go on this map. There's a race that takes about half an hour from coast to coast, if I remember right, in a car of this speed. I think I might have actually done that in an older weekly Waypoint and just like doubled the speed on the footage. I don't quite remember. But I actually think the problem with this race is they turned traffic off, for one thing, and the roads they chose as well. There's a lot of just straights like this one. Big fat empty straights, which I guess is a lot of the population of this world in game. Yeah, well, it's not maybe the best advertisement for the Crew 2 like I was hoping it would be. I wanted to be like, hey, look, it's the Crew 2, it's a fun racing game, look at how big the open world is. But I think what I might have done instead is go, look how empty the open world is. But I do some free roaming stuff after this as well, you know? Okay, it's not all doom and gloom. Play the game, it's a good game, it's a good video game, it's a good fun video game, go play it, go race cars, they go very fast, vroom vroom, fast vroom vroom cars. I don't know why I'm doing this. Before we get off the topic of the Crew 2 though, I will say, one criticism I will levy at this game is, oh my god, do they need to do a better job of showing off your car collection? It is literally a list from left to right with questionable sorting capabilities, and people have been playing this game for 5 years and have a massive garage of 500 cars. How do you ever find what you're looking for when you can only have one favourite car, one favourite boat, and one favourite plane? That sounds like hell, and I hope they do a better job of that in Motorfest. Well, anyway, what have I been playing this week? More RuneScape. First and foremost, more RuneScape. I've been finishing up my fort. I didn't realise there was a big woodcutting update alongside this, which rebalanced all the wood values and gave you like a wood box to store wood in, and like wood spirits are a thing now, and the Incando hatchet is like a thing now, so there's that. Now, despite the fact that I've been playing RuneScape for 16 years on and off, I've never been like a maxed character. I've never done a huge amount of endgame content, and crucially I've never been much of a PVMer, which for the uninitiated is, you know, the combat skills and killing monsters and chasing gear drops and that kind of thing, or one of the very popular activities in RuneScape 3, bossing. So I've been learning bossing because I have a month of free deaths, because I returned to the game and they were like, brilliant, have some free deaths. And if I'm being honest, one of the main things which keeps me away from pursuing PVM content in that game is I've never liked the penalties for death. And I feel like that's got a lot better over the years. It now does just boil down to mostly money, but I think I've got some of that fear still ingrained in me from years and years ago, from one of my first ever recorded RuneScape videos where I took a full adamant set into the wilderness. Was it adamant or rune? And I was like, haha, oh no, I'm gonna drop all my stuff, kind of like joking around, but being like, I'm not gonna drop all my stuff because I'm not gonna get skulled. And then stupidly forgot how the sculling mechanics worked, got skulled, dropped all my stuff. That was one of the first YouTube videos I've ever made, and if we hit 500 subscribers on this channel, I will go back and do a live stream of me watching my earliest videos. They're all privatized on a different channel, so I'm afraid you don't have access to them, which means you've got to tell all your friends to come subscribe to me. That's how that works. It's an incentive. I think I'm doing this correctly. Another thing I've been playing this week, but not a lot of, is World of Warcraft Hardcore Classic, or Classic Hardcore. I don't really know which way you're supposed to say those words. I'm probably going to flip-flop back and forth several times instead of going and learning, but it's on the PTR right now, which means I don't have to pay a subscription fee, and given the ephemeral nature of hardcore characters, instead of going, oh no, but none of my progress would be permanent, I said, oh fuck, I can actually go and, it's like a free trial, I can basically go and play this until either I die or they close the servers and I have one character survive Hardcore Classic WoW, which will never happen again. And I may have turned it into work for myself because I wanted to do this thing where I kind of novelized my character's experiences, and I think what I should have done is left that until the character died and then looked back on their life and novelized the experience from there. But instead what I did is I finished Northshire Abbey and then I wrote about 2,000 words about my character's experiences in Northshire Abbey, and then I went, that's a long, well, it's not a long short story, but that's pretty much a short story all by itself. And also now I feel fatigued because I feel like every time I do something new I have to write about it. So that was not, I mean, you know, live and learn. It wasn't the best method of going about that. I mean, maybe it was for the quality of the writing, but I don't know if I'm even going to release it because while it's a fun writing exercise, I don't know that it's a good story by itself because things happen randomly and don't really have any bearing on the story. Like, one of the first things that happened to me in Hardcore Classic WoW is someone wanted to duel me and I killed them, and I had to incorporate that into the narrative. So a man just randomly attacks my character and it kind of just never gets brought up again because it doesn't have a bearing on a larger narrative. Maybe that's just me not making a novelization in a good way. Maybe I need to make this some kind of overarching story thread. But then I don't want to put too much inventiveness into this because I want it to be a pretty good representation of what actually happened to me. And there's also the whole kind of fan fiction, like, one of my major rules, I don't do this very often, but when I do write in an established universe like Warcraft, one of my major rules is I don't ever want to give dialogue or characterization to any pre-existing characters in that world. I want to, as much as possible, create unique characters within that world, and I can't really do that with the way I'm writing this, so I've given, like, Deputy Willem and Marshal McBride some lines, and I don't know if that reflects their characters in the actual game or not, but I feel like that veers more into fanfiction territory than it does kind of like, I don't know, established fictional universe, unique story territory. But yeah, if you couldn't tell, despite not delivering a short story so far this month, I have been writing. This isn't the only thing I've written either. I've also been writing a unique short story, but it's only a third of a way done. So I haven't talked about writing in a little bit on here, and I didn't really plan to, but it just kind of happened. So there you go, little writing update. Ooh, I feel like I'm articulating my thoughts well today, unlike last week's video, which was just absolute mayhem. I was going to talk a little bit about how I've also gotten back into reading Wheel of Time, but that's already a video. I've already made a video about that. If you want to hear more about that, go and click on the video called Yes, I'm Still Reading Wheel of Time. And since I've made that video, I have made some significant progress through the book. I think I'm in the last third of the book now, and I think when I picked it back up, I'd only read about the first third of it. So there you go. maybe we'll be getting some Blurble Reasoning Path of Daggers edition soon. Isn't that exciting? I do wonder what it's like to be subscribed to my channel sometimes, because you've got me making videos in racing games, and then you've got me making videos about Danny Phantom, and then you've got me making videos about Bleach 1000 Year Blood War, and then you've got me making videos in various MMOs, and then you've got me making videos in another thing. Shit, I forgot to think of an example. Oh right, about Wheel of Time, the one I opened with. Dummy. But videos, for the longest time, I guess this is just going to be a pretty meta weekly waypoint today, but for the longest time I was used to my videos getting 2 to 3 views, and now I feel like they get pretty consistently between 20 and 30, which is magnificent, and I'm very grateful, and I hope I can keep this up. I have been having less of a subscriber growth period recently, but honestly that's kind of a lottery depending on how well my shorts do, and I do think maybe I was a little bit too prolific with the clips I decided to make shorts out of when I was going through the Oblivion clips and stuff like that, but unfortunately I made so many of those and scheduled so many of those that the lesson I learned from that isn't really going to come into practice until like, you know, another half month from now. So maybe that's got something to do with it, I don't really know. But I was watching Josh Strife Hayes talk about who's, by the way, a fairly MMO-oriented YouTuber who has a second channel where he reviews old video games. And he was talking about how he really wants to be able to review, like, longer RPGs like Morrowind and Oblivion, and some other non-Elder Scrolls titles that I've forgotten he mentioned. But he just feels like he can't because they take too long to play through, and therefore the video that is made will result in less videos being made overall, and it will be bad for his business. And as I was watching that video, I was just thinking, man, I'm so glad I'm not successful enough to have to worry about the monetary side of things, which is a weirdly backwards, upside down, inside out thought, but I just mean, like, doing this as a hobby, it is very freeing to be able to pursue the videos that I want to make at any given time. And while I'm not completely free, because I do worry a little bit about, you know, viewer retention, and I know that this channel has a wide variety of stuff, it could have been even more of a Wild West. But I feel like, for the most part, I am free to pursue the videos that I would like to make because I'm not trying to make money off of this. And, you know, if that changes sometime in the future, I wouldn't be too upset about it. It would just be a shift in my philosophy regarding the channel. But I'm just kind of happy to be cruising along, doing what I'm doing. Anyway, one last big topic to see us through the video. Should we talk about the shitstorm that is social media? As of recording, today is my 15th year Twitter anniversary, and that's disgusting, and it has ruined my entire day, just knowing that I have a Twitter account that's 15 years old. But my point in mentioning that is to say that, hey, I was around before retweets were a thing. I was around before GIFs in Twitter were a thing. I was around before replying to yourself to make a thread was a thing. And therefore, I think it's okay that Threads is missing some of these features. Not that last one, it has that last one. But I think it's missing some of them. I'm patient. They've said they're going to put some new stuff in. But for those of you who don't know, or for those of you who are watching this in a different time period, we're currently at the state in time where Elon Musk is spiking Twitter into the ground, and everyone is trying to find a new social platform to migrate to, and it's starting to look like we have all decided to trade one shit billionaire for another shit billionaire, and we're all going to Facebook free, also known as Threads. Which at this point I feel like I should care more about, and in the long run might come back and bite us all in the ass if we don't care more about this, but I couldn't really give a shit. It's just, you know, it's good enough. Currently, I think the thing that's really stopping most people from fully dedicating all of their social media time to Threads, or at least their Twitter kind of time to Threads, is the fact that there is no following feed. You just have a public feed where you, like, don't get me wrong, you can follow people, and when they do new posts, I nearly said tweets, that is an illegal word now. When they make new posts, it will appear at the top of that feed, so if you follow a bunch of people who post regularly, you're probably not going to see too much of a public feed. But the problem is there is a public feed that you cannot opt out of yet, and it's a public feed. It's very full of people who I wouldn't follow. Not in like a toxic way, not in like a, oh, I'm tweeting about how I can't even say the things out loud because, you know, it might get picked up by YouTube and kill this video algorithmically. You know the kinds of things that these people say, the truth social people. I haven't seen much of that on there, but I have seen just like tiring things that I go, okay. So I think as soon as that is fixed, I will probably start posting more on Threads and less on Twitter. As it is, most of the time if I'm making a post to Twitter, I'm copying and pasting it over to Threads or vice versa. But I do still have like things I see on Twitter that I quote retweet and, you know, post about, and you can't like post, there's no web version of Threads yet, you can't like post video clips in it and stuff, so there's still some stuff I'm still doing on Twitter, but I'm hoping that this mass exodus from Twitter sticks this time. And you know, Blue Sky would have been cool, but they kept their gates shut for too long, and Threads I think very much took up that opportunity, and people went, oh, a social media company is doing Twitter, let's all use the one that we already know. Which again will probably come back and bite us in the ass later on, because Mark Zuckerberg, ew. I think I saw some Reddit post that was like, oh god, Threads is a privacy nightmare, but I mean, I pretty much I treat these spaces like public places anyway, because that's what they are, and there's no real privacy in public places. And I feel like things I'm saying right now is like excruciating to hear if you're someone who's all about that privacy, but I don't know. I think we've crossed the Rubicon on that one already, fam. I don't think anything is sacred these days. But yeah, go follow me on Threads. I'm at Kritigri. Surprisingly, can you believe it? Can you believe a username I went with, or my Instagram username? I also do post like pretty unique content to Instagram stories. About like kind of vlog style content sometimes just like screenshots from comics I'm reading, that kind of thing. So you could go follow me on Instagram as well if you like, and then you can remember to subscribe to get that special live stream where we watch my shitty old teenage videos. That's what you've got to do. I'm initiating a call to action. I want you to smash that like button. I want you to ring the bell. I'm just kidding, do what you want. Thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope that you are having a splendid day. And if you're not, I hope that your day becomes splendid. Like, on the spot. Like, just something splendid is gonna happen to you. And you better be ready for it. Because when it does, you need to be like, wow, what a splendid thing to happen to me. You need to embrace it. You know, you need to... you need to... What am I saying? This is what happens when I try to end a video and I've still got footage. You think I would have learned to, you know, match the footage to the audio and not the other way around by now, but here we are. Here we are, everyone. I'm going to crash this plane and it's going to be really embarrassing.